What up, Virginia Jets fans? This is your club president, Adam, and I am back recording live from the studio apartment in Newport News, Virginia. All right, we've got the 7-4 Jets traveling to Minnesota to take on the 9-2 Vikings. So let's break down these matchups right now because we got a lot to talk about with this one. When the Vikings offense is on the field against the Jets defense, well, the Vikings offense, a lot of people think that this is an extremely potent offense. You hear all the talk about Justin Jefferson, and he is a dog. He is amazing. You got Adam Thielen, you got dalvincook. They traded for TJ Hawkinson. But in spite of all that, the Vikings are averaging 340 yards per game on offense. That's basically right in the middle of the league. And they're scoring 23.8 points per game. That's 12th in the league. Their quarterback, Kirkcousins, who I'd like to remind all of us, turned down more money from the Jets so he could sign with Minnesota. He is on the season 269 completions out of 414 passes. That's 65%. 2,760 yards, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, sacked 28 times. Justin Jefferson, do I need to say too much more than just that name, right? Number 18, he has 81 catches on 116 targets. He has 1,232 receiving yards on the year. That is second in the league, only 1 yard behind Tyreek Hill. And he has 5 touchdowns. Not only that, but in 6 of his last 8 games, JJ has 100 yards or more. But in the 2 losses that the Vikings have had, against Dallas and Philadelphia, he caught a combined 9 catches for 81 yards and no touchdowns. So as this offense goes, Jefferson goes, and vice versa. Taking Jefferson out of the game, or at least containing him, is so key. And the Jets, thankfully, have the cornerbacks that can do it between Reed and Gardner. But I would not be surprised to see a little bit of safety help because you want to dare the other players on the Vikings to beat you. And speaking of those other players, well, you've got Adam Thielen, number 19. He's got 54 catches on 77 targets, 553 yards, and 3 touchdowns. TJ Hawkinson was only targeted 4 times against New England. So the Patriots really did a good job limiting Hawkinson, or maybe he and Cousins just weren't on the same page. But the Jets have done very well against tight ends, as well as they've done in a long time. So they got to keep that going. Now, with the Minnesota rushing game, they have the 7th lowest rushing yards per game in 99.4. Now, dalvincook, number 4, very good running back. He's got 841 yards. That's 6th best in the league. The Jets have to tackle him effectively. One of my biggest issues with the Jets defense over the last few weeks is they've missed so many tackles. 20 tackles in the last 2 weeks, and that's on the linebackers, that's on the safeties. So guys like Quincy Williams. See, I caught myself there. Jordan Whitehead, LaMarcus Joyner, C.J. Mosley. When they get the 2 hands on the Vikings ball carrier, they have to take him down to the U.S. Bank Stadium turf. You can't allow these extra yards. Okay? Now with the offensive line with the Vikings, this I want to spend a moment on because it's important. Their left tackle, Christian Darrisaw. He suffered 2 concussions in about a week. He is not going to play this game. This is why this is such a big loss. Okay? Darrisaw last year had a 77% pass block win rate. This year, it's up to 86%. What does all that mean? Well, the bottom line is this. He's allowed 1 sack in 2022. He's good, really good. He was playing at a Pro Bowl caliber level. The Vikings will not have him on the field this Sunday, and that is a big opportunity for Carl Lawson. Instead, the Vikings are going to play Blake Brandel. I didn't know who he was either. I know you didn't because I know I didn't. He has allowed 4 sacks in 3 games. He is not good at all. But you might think, well, okay, they have a bad left tackle, but what about the rest of the offensive line? Well, they got Brian O'Neill at right tackle, who's pretty solid, but the interior offensive line, the guards and centers, are bad. Bad. You got Ezra Cleveland at left guard. You've got Garrett Bradbury at center and Ed Ingram at right guard. They are among the NFL's worst in pass blocking. They have given up 100 combined pressures between the 3 of them. So Quinnen Williams, this is an opportunity for him, I think, to get multiple sacks. Sheldon Rankins will be back for this game. That will be a big addition for this Jets team. I would not even be surprised to see them sneak John Franklin Myers inside on obvious passing situations. His speed can really cause fits for that interior O-line of the Vikings. Okay, so that is one side of the ball. Now we're going to flip it. Let's talk Jets offense versus Vikings defense. The Vikings defense not doing too great. They're allowing 23 points per game. That's 21st in the league. Don't count on Michael Carter suiting up for this game at running back for the Jets. He's got a sprained ankle. He was listed as doubtful on Friday's injury report. And when you're listed as doubtful, it's not saying that you're out, but it's all but certain that you're going to be out. So it's going to be Bam Knight, Ty Johnson. I think James Robinson will be active for this game, but it'll be very interesting to see how Mike LaFleur divvies up these carries between the three running backs. Personally, you know that I love Bam Knight. I've been a fan of his for months now. I hope he gets the bulk of the carries, but we're going to have to see. Now, the Vikings defense is also allowing 390 yards per game, second most in the league. They're going to get some help here with their best defensive tackle. Dalvin Tomlinson will return. He's missed the last couple of weeks due to a calf injury. But probably the strength of this defense is their linebackers, the outside linebackers in particular. You've got Zadariussmith, number 55, and Danielle Hunter, number 99. Those two on the season combined have caused 16.5 sacks, 78 tackles, and 26 tackles for loss. So this is really going to be on Dwayne Brown at left tackle and Max Mitchell at right tackle to hold these two men in check. They cannot let them get to Mike White. Mike White had clean pockets to work with last week, and he took advantage of it. If the offensive tackles can do their share and contain both Smith and Hunter, I think this Jets offense is going to roll. Now, along with that, at inside linebacker, you've got Jordan Hicks, number 58. He's got 93 tackles, a team high, 7 passes defensed, 3 sacks, but he's not that great in pass coverage. He's allowed 4 touchdowns and 399 yards post-catch. So this is a chance where the Jets could use their tight ends or Elijah Moore in the slot and go after that middle of the field. This could really, really work for them. And exploiting the Vikings pass defense is absolutely the way to go. They have allowed 276 passing yards per game, the worst in the league. They have been beat up at cornerback. They've got Patrick Peterson, the longtime Cardinal. Still very good, still very smart, but he doesn't have the same speed he used to. And as a result, the Vikings play a lot of cover 2, where the safeties play zone. They don't line up against a particular player. So this is another reason why the Jets can exploit the middle of the field. Okay. Now, as far as the other cornerbacks, they're getting a Caleb Evans back from an injury. Andrew Booth and Cam Dantzler will not play. They're on injured reserve. So the Vikings are playing a little bit short of cornerback here. And I think this is going to be, I would expect Patrick Peterson most likely to be on Garrett Wilson. Or he might be on Corey Davis. It's hard to say, but I would go away from Peterson because he is that smart and try to exploit the rest of that Vikings secondary. Harrison Smith, though, is pretty dang good. Now, he's coming off an ankle injury, but number 22 has 4 interceptions this year, 65 tackles. Very, very good safety. All right, so that's the Jets' offensive story against the Vikings defense. Now, a few other game notes. I got a couple for you. We got, for the Vikings, their returner, number 26, Kene Nwangwu. Pronouncing some tough names today. He is averaging 26 yards per return, and he has scored a touchdown. Can't let him take the ball from the middle of the field. But there's a couple of big X factors here, and one to me is the kicking game. Gregjoseph, the Vikings kicker, is struggling huge. He is only 16 for 21 on field goals. All of those field goal misses have been from 50 yards and up, but he's also missed 24 of 29 extra point attempts. So even kicking inside, Gregjoseph is very prone to missing. If this game is close, that could be big. Now, another thing I want to talk about is turnovers. So after all these negative stats that I've talked about with the offense and the defense of the Vikings, well, they're still 9-2. How are they doing it? Well, for one thing, they cause turnovers. They are +6 in turnover margin. So that's one of the big things. They don't turn the ball over, and they are adept at turning the other team over. That is 3rd best in the league, only behind Philadelphia and Baltimore. Another thing that I like, these are the 2 best fourth quarter teams in the sport. The Jets are +51 in point differential. The Vikings 1 point behind, +50. If it's a close game late, it's going to be a fascinating situation. And the other two things, the penalties. This game is going to be a lot about penalties. Okay, if you look at penalty yards, okay, we just talked about turnover margin. I'm going to talk about penalty margin here with penalty yards. The Jets are minus 138 in penalty yards. That is 31st in the league, meaning they've taken 138 yards more than the other team has against them. Okay, the Vikings, on the other hand, are second in penalty margin, plus 163. So it comes down to that situation where you don't beat yourself, because if you show vulnerability, if you make dumb mistakes, Minnesota will be there to take advantage of it. That's one of the reasons they keep winning these games. And winning close games, that's been the Vikings. They've won 8 games this year that have been decided by 1 possession or less. Okay? And they are tied for the longest winning streak in league history in one season, with 8 straight wins in 1-score games. It's going to be a heck of a game on Sunday. I'm really excited. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling excited. I think you are too. So you remember where to go. You remember what to do. 1 p.m., AJ Gators. We're doing a regular raffle, so bring some cash with you. Also, remember, we've got 2 weeks left for the Toys for Tots drive. So bring an unwrapped, sealed toy. And we're going to collect those toys. Last year, it was unbelievable. We filled up the whole stage at the back of AJ Gators. We want to do it again, so let's bring some toys. Let's help somebody else this holiday season. I know we've got the heart. I know we got the desire, because we proved it time and time again. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you back here. Let's be loud, be proud, show out. Go Jets!